Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kennel NRL podcast. It's a special week this week. The Dogs finally made a statement, and I just want to say about the title that's on the thumbnail. It says the Dogs are back. False. The boys never went anywhere. The Dogs never went anywhere. Even though people thought we were in a slump, we were still winning games, and we were winning ugly like all top teams have to do. But before we dive into that spectacular win against Melbourne and break down all the details, I want to give a big welcome to our trusty Dragon supporter, our crusty Dragon supporter, Dibbo. Welcome, Dibbo. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, lads. Welcome, Elmo. Glad to be back on. A good weekend of footy again. Sure we're going to get another blockbusting week of footy. It's just all sad it's coming to an end in about 3 months' time. But good statement by the Dogs on the weekend. The game plan from Sir Alder as it came out from the shed, so I had some insider there. Not going to mention his name. Pretty much throw the ball around. Don't dig yourselves into a trench fight with their forwards. Boy, did they throw the ball around. That was insane. It was pretty good. They could have scored a few more tries, to be honest. They should have, actually.
Yeah, I think they played with a lot of freedom that I feel the Bulldogs haven't played for a while. But I thought there was so much there in the game that I want to break down. But a funny story, Devo, just quickly. Firstly, I want to ask, how was your weekend? Did you get up to anything interesting, anything of note?
Or almost predicting the scoreline. That was probably the most noticeable,
That was pretty incredible, actually. Yeah,
insane, eh? It was
that was
good.
amazing. He actually showed me the screenshots from a WhatsApp chat that he was in, where
Everyone laughed
he
at
actually,
me.
I think he predicted 42-10 or something like that. Was that what you predicted?
Yep. Manly's not. I know they beat Melbourne, but so did St George. I know earlier in the week I tipped the Dogs by 4, but then when I heard the game plan and on further review, I thought, you know what? So did St George beat Melbourne. So did a few other sides. Manly's not crash hot in defence either.
Look, in all honesty, and I know a lot of Doggies fans feel the same way. I don't really think anyone expected us to go out there and put,
I was confident.
42 on Manly. But because you can't forget, they beat Melbourne the week before. Look, I know for a fact that Melbourne weren't anywhere near their best. They were missing Paps. I think they're missing a couple more. So I know Melbourne weren't at their best, but they still did get out to beat Melbourne in Melbourne, which is no easy feat. Let's be really honest here. It's not an easy thing to do where you go down to beat Melbourne in Melbourne. And so there was always cause for concern, especially with the way the Bulldogs have been giving up in the second half. I felt like that attitude adjustment needed to be done. But for the Bulldogs to go out and put that on, the truth is that it's better than what most Doggies fans would have accepted. If we're really honest with ourselves, it's better than what most Doggies fans would have accepted. Now, let me know in the comments, guys. Morris, Eddie, Brad, Norm, Doggies for Life, Jordan, Knox, Maras, Abraha, Jamie coming in with the 12 months member. Welcome. We're doing well, Jamie. We're doing well. Abraha's here. Evren, welcome, Evren. Let me know. Zatar, oh my God, starts out with a $7.99 super chat. Special shout out to the self-hating Bulldogs fans that doubted the Dogs in this game. Look, I didn't doubt the Dogs.
Self-hating. Oh my God, that is so harsh.
I don't think we doubted, but it's like we didn't think that they were going to do that. If we're really honest, we didn't think the Bulldogs were going to do that. But nonetheless, it is a very special shout out to the self-hating Dogs. There's so much to say about this game. There's so much to say about what this game means for the Bulldogs. But yeah, I want you guys to tell me sort of in the comments, do you expect a crazy scoreline like that, or was that something that it came out of nowhere for you guys? Because I think there's a few other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about so much of what the Bulldogs are doing well at the moment, and so the whole club just seems to be so well put together, humming along so beautifully, both on and off the field. And just as I say that, Jamie Teasdale gives a $10 shout out, $10 super chat. Jamie Teasdale says the boys were flying. Burton had a blinder. Tracy is a workhorse, and Galvin looked like he has fit in nicely. Oh, and Sherry knows how it feels to be kicked in the face by a rhino. Oh my God, what was that? When I saw that, when I saw Sherry cop the size 700 boot in the face from kicks, honestly, I thought it was all over and over for Bronson Sherry. Yeah, that was a mean boot, but luckily it was only a category 2, and he came back to score 2 tries, which was fantastic. But I want to start with the 30-year anniversary celebration. I thought the way the team, the club has gone about that for the last week or so, I thought it was fantastic. I thought that the way they honored everything about the club, because I feel like it wasn't just honoring the win and that team, but it was honoring the whole club from 1995. Because what they did, so if you guys didn't notice, they actually brought out the 1995 cheerleaders to cheer with the current Bulldogs Sapphires cheerleaders.
Oh, God. I think only one of them was still a good sort. They were about 50. But... Jeez. One of them actually looked real good.
Oh my God.
One of them was still a sort. I'll tell you what. Well, yeah. So the rest of us, man, put them back in the box, please.
But look, to be honest, while I get your comment,
also,
I have to say that
you'll get my comment. The other downside was they'll call it the Sydney Bulldogs, not the Canterbury Bulldogs. I think it was a different club. So we'll deduct it. We'll deduct one title off the tally.
Yeah, well, but I mean, by that logic, the Central Dragons have only won one.
We were at one. Yeah, we are at
one. Yeah,
one.
You're at one. Let's.
We're at one. You know,
right?
just...
but yeah, but
True.
But I thought the way the club handled it was fantastic. Like, the Bulldogs have such a great handle at the moment on not only, I guess, game day, but I feel like they've got such a great handle on what the fans want to see and what other clubs aren't doing. And it just seems to be end-to-end, well thought out, well designed experiences for the fans. And so when you look at even yet last week when they had the team list, it was sort of 1995 original looking. When they had the halftime score on social media, the score, it looked like the old score, the old media that they would have put out. And so a lot of these things are, for me, so emblematic of a club that's doing well, both on and off the field. Never mind that, corporate sponsorships, business partnerships, so much of the commercial side of the club is doing well. Never mind that our juniors are doing very well. Never mind the fact that, our junior pathways and our junior rugby league clubs are actually the largest in the country and are growing at the fastest rate in the country. So many positives for the club, sort of beginning to end. And what a turnaround it has been for the Bulldogs. I think, like, again, I'll go back to that Knights game in 2023, but we're not far removed at all from the way the club was 2.5 years ago. And to see where we are today, both on and off the field, and now we've got the NRLW team there. It honestly, Denon Kemp was saying on his podcast that the Bulldogs are a sleeping giant. The sleeping giant's going to grow, this and that, blah blah blah. I actually think that we are not only the sleeping giant of rugby league, but we're the sleeping giant of Australian sport. And I would, hot take, very hot take, very stupid take, very blue and white glasses on, but I think that at this trajectory, the Bulldogs will become one of the largest sporting brands in Australia, not just in New South Wales, but in Australia. And I've just said a lot, but I'm interested to hear what you think just about the way the club handled the 1995 celebrations, and then also about how the club is sort of going off the field as well.
They missed a live crossover to the Leagues Club in the middle of the game. So if we wanted to, that's what they did in the '95 grand final. Well, that's what they used to do, but they stopped doing it. I used to love those. I used to love those live crossovers. You'd go to Canterbury Leagues Club live. They did it to Canberra. I remember they used to do it to St George's, Manly, Newcastle. I remember all those growing up. In terms of off the club, Canterbury's actually got Canterbury Bankstown is actually the biggest LGA in all of Australia, population-wise. You guys should actually have the most juniors. I'm sure they will capitalise on that. You do have a growing rate of junior league participation after years of decline. They've certainly turned it around for the last decade or so, I reckon, or the decade at least. You start to get 2-3 sides for every age for each club. I'm talking about in junior footy. And I'm sure if they want to keep growing it and become the biggest junior league nursery, not just in Sydney, but in all of Australia, I'm sure the shrewd minds at the Bulldogs will probably start offering scholarship programs to maybe families to bring their kids over to play in the Canterbury district. That's another one. I'm sure the rich Canterbury Leagues Club could bankroll that. I'm sure Canterbury will probably go the next level in terms of doing that. They do that in American football. They do that in for example, in soccer, in the English Premier League, that is. Canterbury got to take it to.
So just on that, the Leagues Club actually does subsidise junior rugby league in the Canterbury Bankstown area. So
I know.
There used to be a government incentive where they would subsidise
right.
$50 or $100 of the fee for the juniors. And then the subsidy actually disappeared. And now the Canterbury Leagues Club actually pays that money that the government used to pay. And that's something that John Curry himself proposed to the Leagues Club, and something that, it was his project that he brought on, and the Leagues Club was more than happy to oblige. Now, I never get in the habit of talking about Leagues Clubs.
I reckon.
Right? But you got to say, like, this is one of those areas where it's like, oh, good stuff. Like I can cop that.
I reckon Canterbury Bankstown. We all know they got such a rich club. Honestly, it's all the Lebanese and the Vietnamese putting all their money into the poker machines. They're bankrolling the junior nursery. But anyways, go over there and have a look. Come on, guys. Anyways, back to topic. Honestly, Canterbury League's got to take it to the next level. We all know they subsidise your junior footy, but they want to be ahead of everyone else. Maybe each year they should set aside $250,000, maybe $500,000 war chest, and target standout juniors from the ages of, for example, 12 to 16 or 12 to 18. Scholarships could be 10K, 20K. Try to identify, maybe 10K, maybe identify, say, 30 different players or 50 different players. They can bring around from the ages of 12 to 16, for example, to come play in your junior league, or maybe or even bring it lower, from the ages of 10 to 16 or 10 to 14. Bring them around. The parents only got to drive probably half an hour or an hour, but dangle that $10,000 incentive, and then go straight to the kids' bank account. I'm sure the parents won't say no.
The great thing is about our juniors and the way we're building is that, in fact, the Bulldogs don't need to subsidise. If you look at all the juniors that we have been signing from the Roosters, from the Dragons,
but that will stop
from Queensland. Well, actually, no, because what the Bulldogs are doing is not very recently, but a couple of years ago, they actually signed a great deal with a Queensland nursery. They've got one in New Zealand. They've got one in Fiji. They've got obviously in New South Wales. They've got in the Central Coast. They have some great great scouts there. And if the team continues to perform on the field and commercially, I think, and as long as we keep our eyes on the juniors, what happened in the early 2010s, like in the late 2000s, early 2010s, right? We went away from sticking to our DNA and winning based off who we are as a club, and we tried to, buy a premiership with Desi Hazard. And look, we almost got there. And a premiership's a premiership. But it wasn't, it wasn't the case. And that's something that I think we need to ensure, or the club needs to ensure, that it keeps its eyes open, because we never want to fall back into that lull. And I think what I think you will find is, more than ever before, we're going to have a team of juniors that have actually played in the Canterbury Bankstown area, playing for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And look, Seraldo, Gus, Adam Drewsy, John Curry, like, they're all bought into the area. I speak to John Curry quite a bit, and he talks to me about his junior development. And the bloke, they, as they say in Arabic, من المنطقة. I mean, ربي بالمنطقة. ابن المنطقة. Like, he's from the area. He's a part of the area, and the area is a part of him. And you can tell he's always at the junior leagues. He's always watching the junior teams. He's always supporting the junior clubs. And I think, like, when you have someone like John Curry there that understands the area, but then you have someone like Gus Gould who understands junior rugby league at a 50,000 foot view. When you combine those two together, what it does is it's a recipe for success. It's a recipe for great success, because you've got someone who's from the area, who understands the people, understands the culture. Then you've got someone who understands the infrastructure part of it, like Gus Gould. And once you marry those two together with a passionate CEO who's not there in a business capacity alone, he's there as a fan. Like, if you see Adam Drewsy, and we did an interview with him last year. If you see Adam talk about the Bulldogs, it's not like he's talking about another role that he's doing as a job, right? It's not that Adam is there, think or feeling like, oh, I've got to wake up and go do my duties as a chairman of the board. I don't really want to, but I'm getting paid, or I've got this obligation and I want to do it. No, this is like a passion project for him, right? He owns a $1 billion company, and he doesn't need to be there, but he does it because he loves the club so much. That's the thing. But then when you've got Gus, who has such deep history with the club, so many things are aligning. Look, honestly, I swear I didn't want to make this whole podcast just to talk about the background, but I do think, like, we haven't really gone into it as much as in much detail as I would have liked. But I just thought it was so important to highlight it, because what I saw from the club last week, we're speaking off the field now, but we're going to go into on the field very, very soon. But what I saw from the club was just not only a club that is strong and a club that is well built, but a club that understands what it's doing. A club that is supremely confident in its ability to execute. And that, for me, is such a great sign, because it looks like the admin stuff, the content stuff, is all being looked after. But by the same token, on the field, seeing how the club's performing, seeing how some of the decisions that Seraldo made 6-7 weeks ago are now starting to bear fruit, and you can't help but be excited for the Bulldogs. You really, really can't help, as a Bulldogs fan, but be excited. Very, very quickly, Dibbo, just before I let you respond. First thing, I want to give a shout out to Norm for 2 reasons. So he just gave us a $8 super chat. He does it every week. We love you, Norm. Thank you very, very much. Second reason I want to give Norm a shout out is he's actually watching us from the hospital. He's in the hospital at the moment. From what he tells me, he's doing okay. Just had a bit of a surgery, and he should be okay, hopefully. So big shout out to Norm. Inshallah, you have a quick recovery, and you're good. And I hope that this podcast is bringing you a little bit of relief and a little bit of enjoyment as you sort of sit.
I think Norm kicked everyone out of the. I think he kicked all the visitors out, saying, "Oh, I'm busy now."
Yeah, I reckon
he's kicked them all out. That's what I reckon. He's told the nurses to leave him alone.
Jeez. So thank you so much, Norm. Appreciate it. And honestly, thank you for being on. Get better soon, bro. Also, we've got about 50 people live. If you can, please give a big thumbs up. Give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe. That's very, very important for us. And be sure to share this, share our podcast, share our content with, with whoever loves the Bulldogs, loves talking rugby league, loves good content. We try our best to just give it. And to be honest, we come in just to have a bit of fun, have a bit of a laugh, and it's become probably the most important 2 hours of the week for me. Anyway, so
Wow.
yeah, I love it. Honestly, I wish I could do this every day. Honestly, like I look at NL 360 and I always wonder how the hell do you get it so wrong? Like imagine being able to do this every night and then make a living off it. But wallah, do you know, like I always say this, and I've told you this before. If I could make a living off this, wallah, I'll do it every night. I wouldn't do anything else. I would not do anything else. Now, welcome Tiam, Dev Era. Yeah, it is these Lebo guys again. Gangstalicious. Welcome. Gangstalicious has also started releasing some content on YouTube. Check him out. His channel is called Gangstalicious. He has some great perfume suggestions. They're fantastic. You'll love them. And so go check out Gangstalicious and all his perfume suggestions. The bloke smells like $1 million every time. And so with that now, I want to get into the game. I want to get into the Dogs v Manly. But before that, I do want to give you a quick response to what I was saying before, Debo, about as a Doggies fan, like having the right to be excited about the club.
Yeah, definitely. But what I was saying was, yeah, they've gone out and done those signings and that, but if they get complacent, other clubs evolve. They watch.
Agreed.
That's why I'm saying maybe they should prepare a war chest, take it to the next level. A lot of clubs ain't going to fork out a war chest. Canterbury can afford a war chest every year. They make such big profit from the leagues club. And I'm sure they've been smart with the money. I hope they've been investing in property and whatnot, in assets and all that are liquid at the same time. For those that don't know what liquid means, obviously generating cash in return as well. But they try to attract the cream of the crop to the area, and it soon becomes a big league. And then there's a lot of players they won't need to try to entice over, or kids anyway. You get me? And their families, they'll automatically go and enroll their kids in the league. I know for a fact, especially this last 10 or 15 years, parents enrolling their kids in the Penrith comp because there's like so many divisions there. It's the toughest comp maybe. They're trying to see if their kids got it or not because a lot of big kids out there. Big Polynesian contingent in their competition. Canterbury want to be that it comp. You get me? The it comp, the toughest, biggest, most opportunistic junior league, in Sydney anyway, but you want to be it. They want to get it there. So they got to find ways to, at the moment, the Roosters seem to pinch all these kids from about 14 years old. They pinch good ones. They don't just pinch nobodies. Have you realised they always seem to pinch the cream of the crop? And it's from all areas, not just from any junior league, but from all areas. In Canterbury, they want to. Elmo, you're on mute, Elmo, but
Apologies.
Yeah, I'm thinking what's Elmo saying, but you want to stay ahead of your competition because your competition will be watching what you're doing and then try to emulate that. So you want to get ahead of your competition. That's what you want to do. And East weren't the first to do what they're doing. St George's success decades ago wasn't because they had the best junior league or junior nursery. No, far from it. They used to. I know for a fact Frank Facer, and he was the first to do it in the country. It's been, evolving, and you got to be a pioneer what you do. Frank Facer, the old St George secretary, was the first secretary or club official in the league. They used to hop on a plane with probably one other talent scout and fly all over the country. Like he used to fly to Melbourne, for God's sake, to check out even AFL players. He used to go to country Queensland. One of your greatest players, Kevin Ryan, Candos, he actually won 7 premierships with St George. You know what he was? He was a rugby union player for Queensland.
Wow.
So Kevin Ryan, Frank Facer flew to Queensland, saw this guy play union, but he was also a boxer. He was also a boxer, and I think and it was only a last round disqualification that stopped him going to the Commonwealth Games to fight in the heavyweight division for Australia. But he flew to country Queensland to scout him, for example. He used to fly to WA. He flew to Fiji, So Canterbury's not the first ever to go to Fiji, but
Well, I mean, now the Six-Tails are playing in the New South Wales Cup, and they're starting. It's
it
as I
only
say,
took the NRL 5 decades to catch on.
I'm with you. But look, the NRL start trying to move fast. They've got this they've got the PNG team coming. Anyway,
he signed a guy in the 60s called Apisai Toga from Fiji. He flew to Fiji. Tragic story, that one. Yeah, Apisai ended up contracting infection on holiday. He played a good amount of games for St. George. Ended up contracting infection when he went home from Fiji for the holidays and died there, sadly. But, you got to evolve. You got to be ahead of your competition. So, Frank, I mean, I reckon Gould look fantastic. They've established one in Fiji. They probably should establish one in Tonga and Samoa. The next thing they could probably do is start going to South Africa. Unbelievable.
Look, I think
if they don't catch on and go to South Africa...
Once Perth gets in there, honestly, I reckon it'll be a stone's throw away. Very quickly, I just want to say a big thank you to Gangstalicious, who has become our latest Bulldogs latest kennel member. And guys, if you do want to become members, I'll put the link in the chat for you guys to have a look. It's $6 or $7 a month, and what it does, it just helps us pay for everything that that all the costs that we incur running the podcast.
Thanks, guys.
It's not cheap. So if you can, become a member, I'll put the link in the chat. It would be great. Just just a little bit to help us. But if not, just give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. If you are looking in the background, give us a hello. Give us a comment. Dibbo, great talk about the Apisai Toga. I actually had no idea. And look, I completely agree with you. And I think, to be honest,
South Africa is the next. Don't worry about Papua New Guinea. South Africa.
I don't know what you do for a career, bro. But I don't know what you do for a career. But you need to start. You need to work for the NRL, bro. You need to do like some sort of job for the NRL, because I think,
please.
Some of the stuff that you do.
Oh, you muted yourself again.
Sorry. Some of the stuff that you do in the NRL, some stuff that you talk about on this podcast, I think even the people in the NRL would not know the type of shit that you're talking about. I'll be honest with you. So always. You're the best to have on the podcast, and some of the insights you have are fantastic. With that, I do want to start talking a little bit about the actual game, some of the fallout from the game.
Good turnout, by the way.
Great into, you mean the people we've got live at the moment?
No, at the game. The live. We got to start going earlier for live, I say.
You want to start coming on earlier?
I reckon 7 o'clock. Don't you reckon, guys? 7 o'clock kickoff.
Although I can do 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock works.
I reckon some people are just waiting around for 7 o'clock kickoff.
Anyways,
we'll see how it goes.
Works. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I don't think the crowd was that big. I did like the run out, the atmosphere. Funny story about this actually, Dibbo. I was actually watching this game on the plane.
Please stay on flights going forward. Just catch a flight. We'll pay your fares.
I was saying that. I was like,
Antarctica. They do their flyover of Antarctica and back. We'll shut you on for the grand final if they get there. Just stay on that flight.
And we were on the Qantas Wi-Fi, trying to make sure we get a connection. And I swear, we'd watch 10 minutes of the game, and then it would cut out for 5, and then it cut for 10 minutes, and it played for 10 minutes and cut out for 10, and it was just such a. Bro, so this was up until the 60th minute, it was the most frustrating hour and a half of my life. I was just like, what the hell is going on? And then once I saw them kick on to 7:30, to 24-4, I kind of felt comfortable, but because of the fade outs the boys have had, I was like, oh man, I'm still worried. And then once it got to 32 or 30, I was like, yeah, I think the Sea Eagles are fried. They're done. And then it was just a very, very frustrating game for me to watch, because the Qantas Wi-Fi was just so bad. Wallah, the Qantas Wi-Fi was horrible.
Yeah, but you would have been ecstatic when you landed.
Oh, bro, I mean, no, because I could see the scores, but I couldn't watch the game. And to be honest, I always felt like if I can't watch the game, I don't really want to know the score, but I also couldn't keep myself away from the score. So yeah, it was, as I say, it was a very frustrating 60 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so I want to get into the game. That was a great performance. I did not expect the Bulldogs to perform the way they did. I did not expect us to put in such a comprehensive 80-minute performance across the board. Like if you told me how do I want the Bulldogs to perform, that was exactly how I wanted the Bulldogs to perform. Because Manly, I'll tell you, Manly came out to play. Manly weren't there to twiddle their thumbs. They came out with a plan, and their plan was to do to us again this year what they did to us last year, which is run us over. Be physical. Absolutely destroy our confidence and destroy our middles. That was their plan. And for the first, bro, he had a great game.
Oh, he was
whatever
on
you
fire.
think of Matt
These
Lodge, he
teammates
had a great game, bro.
Unbelievable. He was on, trying to wreck you
Can't believe
single-handedly.
that no one offered him a proper deal. Like, you look at South Sydney, they would have offered him a deal. Couldn't they have done with him this year, bro?
Bloody oath. Even St. George. Well, they gave him a deal, but it was a joke.
Oh, bro, I cannot believe.
Expect them to play for minimum. Unbelievable.
Bro, I cannot believe that the Dragons turned away a proper... Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. He had a great game.
Oh, he did too, yeah.
They tried... what I think they did, and this is the problem, right? They front-loaded their energy. They thought if we go out and give everything in the first 20 minutes, we'll get 2 or 3 tries on these guys. We can buckle them. And then in the back end, right, we would have come home. We'll come home strong in the second win, especially if we're winning. The Bulldogs said, bring it. And the Dogs were there. They went toe-to-toe with them. Even, like, for example, what I thought was a great 40-20 kick by Daly Cherry Evans. And I thought that had mad potential to turn the game on its head. I thought, honestly, that was when the Manly opened their scoring. I thought it was going to be 6-0. But lo and behold, the Bulldogs' defense held even after a momentum swing like that 40-20. Right? Even after that 40-20, the Bulldogs' defense held, and then we go back down and we score. And for me, when I saw that, I was like, all right, maybe today we're seeing a bit of a different team. We're seeing a team that's here to play. And, if ever a team needed to come out and make a statement, it was the Bulldogs this week against Manly. Manly had won 3 in a row. Last start winners against Melbourne in Melbourne. Desperate to keep in touch with the top 8. Seabold's under pressure. Turbo's playing in centres, slowly building his confidence again. Leah Hopewadi doing very well at fullback. I thought he had a great game against the Storm. Daly Cherry Evans, doing what he does. And, there was a recipe there where the Bulldogs maybe don't respond. But Ciraldo knew that he needed the response from his team, and the team knew that Ciraldo needed the response from them. And what we got was a statement so profound, I think, from the Bulldogs that even someone like Buzz, Anasta, Tallis, NRL 360, Brett Reed, all these guys who have been talking shit for the last 7-8 weeks since we signed Galvin are now on the back foot. Are now saying, okay, I was wrong, or I'm back on the bus, or well done to the Dogs, and this is what we needed to see. As though they haven't been death riding us for the last 2 months. As though they haven't been sitting there and, egging on the absolute destruction of the club and the downfall of the club. And so what, for me, as a fan, that was beyond what I needed to see for the club to say, I'm confident that we can go all the way. And I think, it's not that there's some conspiracy where Ciraldo was trying to make us lose or not play properly. It was more that Ciraldo took the time to experiment where he felt he should experiment. And to see the way he did that and what we're seeing now from Galvin, I thought was I'm glazing again. Sorry, I'm starting to go on my glazing rant, Dibbo.
Oh, just keep going, mate.
What did you think about the Bulldogs? What did you think about this? The win. Was it enough of a statement for you from a
Well, you know, I liked what
from
I saw.
a like a neutral?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I liked. I saw they turned their attack became their defense. That's what it became. The offense became the defense. They were burning them out wide. Oh, you don't forget Manly's got scorches out wide. We all know that. You know, if they get in the cleat, it's all over Red Rover. But it was
Are they the
Canterbury
fastest back line in the competition?
I think so. I'd say they are, man. But wow, Canterbury's offense became their defense. Absolutely killing it every time they spread it out wide. Like Birdo was just on fire. He was using his running. He used his running skills to great effect. For such a big man, he could run. Bronson Shear was phenomenal, you know, and that's on top of copying a broken nose. Kiraz obviously every game. Oh man, his offloads absolutely destroy teams. That's the first thing you pick out. Tiam's obviously touched on. I think Tiam was glazing Connor Tracy in the comments non-stop, but he's let us know what Connor does. And everyone knows how hard Connor goes into a lot of intent and how busy he is and all that. Nari Tawala had his best game, you know, in a long time, I reckon. He was pretty good too. You know, obviously he was feeding off the Canterbury team. Stephen Crichton didn't have to put his best foot forward, you know, like his teammates were absolutely just killing it. And Lockie Galvin, we know what a threat he is in attack. You know, I don't see him as a genuine halfback, but his attacking threat is just that good. Just give him the ball. You know, and obviously, you know, enough said about your forwards as well. Once the team was just burning them with attack, players like Sam Hughes were just getting a roll on. You know, it was nice to see him score a double. You know, how good was that? And I read a good article about him today. Growing up, he was actually a winger and a centre. You know, he even played fullback. Yeah, it was. Then he got told he was too slow to be backs. He was in the Harold Matthews side for Canterbury in the 17s, and they just didn't ease him into the forwards. He said, "You're playing prop today." And he just, went from there and ended up being in Brad Fittler's, I think, famous under-19 side or something like that, or the other guys, or 16s, whatever it was. You know, I was reading an article, I thought that was nice. So, you know, for some reason, I got a soft spot for Sam Hughes. You know, remember last year I kept saying he needed to have a big season. I like what I've seen him. You know, and he had an injury run this year, but man, he came good in that game against Manly. You know, like Matt Lodge was coming out and giving you guys he was giving you guys some heavy hits, like he was giving you guys some damage, you know. But the boys didn't wilt. They just kept throwing things at you. You know, I think after a big hit, the ball went out wide to Birdo. You know, that was after Trebojevic came off the centres and made a good tackle. He put a heavy tackle in. And, you know, your team could have went into this shell, but they attacked right away after that big hit from Trebojevic. The ball went to Birdo. If you remember, they went out wide and went about 30, 40 metres. They showed their intent early. They were going to throw it around. Exactly what I'd heard anyway before the game. I got my insider there. So that was good. Very good. I was like, wow, they are throwing it around. They're showing they got some attacking prowess. And they attacked really good because they could have easily racked up 50-plus points. It was very good to see. It was very pleasing. I mean, Reed Marnie came off. You know, he did a fantastic job keeping it, you know, the points down in the middle. Like only one try by them. You know, it was just before half time. But when he came on, and obviously Manly was starting to tire, Bailey Hayward absolutely served his role with good, you know, very good. The attack even flowed even more. You know, obviously he's probably more of a half than a hooker, but he's evolving into a hooker really well. You saw how much times they cut him up in the second half, and even Bailey Hayward himself should have had a try, but he chopped the sitter. But you know, wasn't costly. Yeah, that was actually.
But we left some out there. Like that's the level of.
No, that was good. And you know what? You didn't. You know, I didn't think Canterbury played to their full ability there. To be honest, I didn't think they spent themselves either. It was good. It was a game they could have walked away. Unfortunately, they got one injury. You know, but it didn't feel like they spent themselves to get there. You know, they left petrol in the tank. That was it was the best for me. It was their best performance of the year for me anyway, because everyone was talking up. They haven't played anyone yet. You know, and they bet another top 8 contender had won a few games in a row. And they just beat them. They absolutely smacked them. You know, and yeah, I just thought, you know what, maybe Cam was going to put a big score on them today. And from what I don't know, just when I gave
It was
it
a
the thought.
great call, to be honest. It's even as a Doggies fan, I wouldn't have suggested or thought.
Everyone was laughing at me. I don't know if you saw one of the comments like, "Oh, cocaine's one hell of a drug," and everyone was laughing at me in that. And I said, "Listen, at halftime, you all be saying, he did that. Dibbo did warn us, but." Yeah, and it was only 12-4 at halftime. I thought, Canterbury probably should have been up by a few more tries.
I
Bang.
agree.
Second
I agree.
half. They got the
On
Tigers
fire.
this week. I don't think they'll slip up against the Tigers. They'll get another good roll on. I'll be surprised if they do slip up against the Tigers. And when I mean slip up, not win by plenty. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they'll slip up. I still think they'll win by plenty by the Tigers this week. And it'll be another good performance. I can see it. That was good. The only downer is from that game was obviously Connor Tracy, but it's probably good. It gives him a rest in the meantime as well. So, look, Briansy.
Welcome, Brian. Yes, we can see your comment. Very quickly, I just want to say welcome to Doggy71. You just become a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Kennel family. Thank you very much. And while I'm saying that, we've got 72 people here. Please, everyone, all 72 of you, just click the like button. That's all I ask. Just click the like button, and I have pinned the comment there with the link to becoming a member. So if you did want to become a member, please join. Feel free to join.
Was that because I was glazing the dogs for about 10 minutes? Everyone started watching. Maybe I should glaze them every week. Honestly, that performance deserved glazing.
That was a glaze-worthy performance. I'm with you 100%.
I was meant to go to the game, but obviously, when the family always surprises you, can you cook the barbecue for us today? I'm like, oh, God, how do I tell them no?
Barbecues.
I can't. It's your parent. If it was my brother telling me cook the barbecue, I'd have told him go F himself. But, I actually watched the game with my brother, and my brother was really impressed as well. My brother's, my brother, Elmo, he doesn't really show emotion.
Very, very harsh critic.
Yeah, but it doesn't really show emotion. Even if you put in an amazing performance, my brother turned around and said to me, like, wow, that was actually good. Like, my brother goes, I don't really rate Manly as much as everyone's rating him. But my brother turned to me and said, that was actually fair dinkum good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was their best performance of the year. For me, anyway. I'm not the best critic, but yeah.
So I want to go through just some individual performances, and I have to start with Burden, and I'm going to put a poll as to who you guys think was the player of the match, right? I'm gonna put who I thought who people have been talking about as the potential. So there's going to be Burton, Tracy, Kikau. Who else did you think Dibbo could have potentially been?
Honestly, and I know you probably didn't have the biggest of second halves, but there's two guys for me that kept the rage maintained in that first half, because every time Manly came in through five for their forwards, every time that ball went, like Birdo, honestly, Birdo, and obviously Kiraz. I don't care what anyone says. Kiraz never has a bad ball. Sure, he might fumble the ball a few times once every 20 games, but I don't care. In that first half, if Canterbury could have wielded the ball, every time went to those two, man, their runs were damaging, especially that Burden. For me, my man of the match was Burden. Sherry deserves a special mention. It's actually a good shout. Oh, Burden. I don't. He mate, he used the space. I'll tell you what, he stood tall. He would get that attack running.
Also, just quickly, Knox has become a member. Knox, thank you so much. Welcome. Really appreciate you guys becoming members. It means so much to us. All right, so I've put a poll up as to who I think, as to get an idea of who you guys think was player of the match. I think for me, you cannot go past Matt Burden as the man of the match, and I think Burden has been our best, most consistent player, I reckon, all year. And look, we've spoken ad nauseum about how Burden is no longer a centre.
You know what's the downside?
But I have to say, pardon?
You could pick him for New South Wales in Australia at centre. That's the downside. That's how good he is at centre.
Okay, but I'm actually going to agree with you there. I'll tell you why. Did you see that there was a try that we set up?
It's always been
one of the tries that we set up on the right-hand side for Kiraz. Just before that, Burden took 3 left foot steps, found the space, ran to the 10, and then we spread it wide and we scored.
He's quick for a big man and agile. Very agile on his
Bro,
feet for a big man. People don't realise how big he is, do they?
the ability to...
He's not even skinny.
Bro, he's huge. He's a big boy. The ability for him to step so quickly...
Look, right? Brian, you know what? It's good he gets his hands on the ball. So, yeah, I wouldn't play him at centre. Not in this team anyway.
Honestly, Brian's sort of just commented on it. Well done, Brian Red. How about the moment they still say Burton is centre? Burton right now is one of the form sixes of the game. Right?
Oh,
I think
course,
Burton is one of the form sixes of the game. Other than... I don't know. Right now, I don't know who I would say is another...
You actually got a lock and a second row playing 7 and 6. That's the evolution of rugby league.
You could make that argument, right? You could make that argument.
It's the evolution. You literally got Tom Brady, who's big for a quarterback, and maybe who else is a big quarterback?
But he's kicking
anyway,
as well.
Steve Young was quite big.
Every time we needed to get out of trouble, his kicking was so spot on. He kicked it where he needed to. The chase was on the time, but he's just so central to everything that we do, right? And I spoke about it last week about the flow of the game, the flow of the Bulldogs' plan, not specific tactical or attacking plays, but actual flow, like the chain of events of how we play our game. And Burton is just so important to everything that we do. And like...
He's like a Brad Fittler. Fittler started off at centre.
He's the key. He's the key. It's not Galvin. It's not Tracy. It's him. Yeah, Burton is the key. When Burton takes charge, and that's the other thing, when Burton says, this is my team, I'm going to lead, Galvin, just give me space, our team is going to be better for it. If you look yesterday, the Bulldogs ran, the 6 and the 7 for the Bulldogs, Burton and Galvin ran for a combined, I think, based on what NRL.com is saying, about 400 meters. So...
Was that from
just under 400
was that Sunday's
meters,
game?
390 meters.
That's insane.
400 meters between the half and the 5'8". Which, yeah, as you say, it is insane. Like our forwards, Video Mikikau only ran 126 meters, and he made the most meters of any forward, right? So to see our halves running more than our props, for me, it's remarkable. And what I find even more incredible, Demo, is that in the press conference, Serraldo was saying that he actually changed the attack 2 days before the game. He said it was too complicated and it wasn't working.
Just run it. Throw it around.
He just changed the game and he just simplified it for everyone, and everyone just decided to run.
Yeah, throw it around, run it. Just throw it and run. They'll get to spread it, and that's it. Just throw fire with fire.
100%. And I don't want to talk about Galvin because everybody talks about Galvin, but I also don't not want to talk about Galvin if he deserves to be spoken about. And I think for this game, he deserves to be spoken about for one reason. Is he just took a massive step back and he said, you know what? I'm going to chime in where I can. I'm going to impact the game where I organically see myself impacting. I'm not going to try and take a step back. I'm not going to try and be the hero on every single play. Sure, it worked against the Dragons. He was the hero. But because it got so simple for him, he was able to take a step back and just see everything a little bit more clearly. And for me, it worked so well because I don't think Burton plays that well if Galvin doesn't give him the space, doesn't give him the time, doesn't give him the support, doesn't give him the backup to play that way. And so it's starting to click just how good Galvin actually is for a 20-year-old compared to someone like Sexton who plays a more structured, less off the cuff, less direct type of game.
He's got more of an attacking threat.
Way
Galvin.
more of an attacking threat.
So that it's danger whoever gets the ball. So it's actually all Burton now.
What do you think? How do you think Galvin was yesterday
Oh, he had his best game in Bulldogs
on
colours by
Sunday.
far. I
Sorry.
know it's his second run full time. Fantastic. The scoreline said it all. Scoreline said it all. Didn't have to overplay his hand. And that's the beauty about it. If his teammates are threatening, he kind of like gets underestimated or forgotten or not given the extra attention he should be getting, and he becomes a more attacking threat himself.
Mm.
If Canterbury can capitalise on this, oh man, it's going to be nightmares for each club, for other clubs, absolute nightmares. They got to try capitalise on this performance that they did against Manly. If they don't, then it's quite a big disappointment because they've shown their hand what they can produce. Oh, they walloped them 42-4, and it should have easily been 50 plus. 42-4.
Easily, yeah. I think we left 3 tries out there, from what I saw.
At best you could have given Manly one other try, and that's it. Like, it was great performance. Yeah, Manly were just shellacked out there, shell shocked, shellacked. They gave they were giving their best hand forward. Like, Matt Lodge was he was killing it in that first 20. They had all things could go their way, and they couldn't.
And Eddie's made a great point. Eddie's made a very, very good point. Galvin unlocks our right side. We are lethal on both sides now. And we saw that. We saw that Kiraz scored 2, right? Inari scored 1. Sherry scored 2. Critter, obviously, he didn't score 1, but
like I said, he didn't have to put his best hand. He didn't have to put his best leg forward.
No, spot on.
Didn't have to. His teammates were just doing it all.
And you see the first try for Kiraz's first try, the handling, the way that Galvin to Tracy to Critter to Kiraz, how smooth that was. We haven't seen that for weeks. We haven't seen that for weeks. And so when I say this was great, like, this was fantastic. Big shout out to Sherry. Broke his nose, had HIA.
I thought he was gone.
Yeah, me too. I thought, oh man, we're gonna watch. You know what I thought? Honestly, I thought that Serraldo was gonna move Burden into center, Haywood was gonna come into 6, and then we're gonna lose. Honestly, that's what went through my head. But then when we came back in the second half and Sherry was there, I was so relieved to see him take a run because I was like, all right, we can just continue rolling on. So I have to give a shout out to Sherry. Copped the big boot on the schnoz, but sort of showed his showed his ticket to come back and score 2 tries. I thought the try that he scored outside Turbo, that was early ball. All we need to do is we need to give Sherry more of that early ball, and I guarantee you he burns 9 out of 10 centers. 9 out of 10 centers, he will burn them. If he can burn Turbo, he will burn so many other centers. And we just need to get him early ball. And that's what we haven't been doing, and that's what we did against Manly. We opened it up, right? Like, I still can't believe that this dude was out for 4 years. Bro, this guy was out for 4 years, and the Bulldogs said, you know what? We're going to give him a shot. And how he repaid the club is just it's fantastic.
If only he knew to change his name to Yannick Sinner. You already copped 2 months.
I mean, look, again, like, it's all ridiculous. But I don't want to sort of take that. Bro, what he's achieved in his comeback has been fantastic. He may not have a brilliant game every single game, but you're going to get 8 out of 10 from him every single week.
4 years off and he's doing that. How good.
Right, can you imagine? And he's only 24, bro. He's still very young.
He should have been playing rep football already.
Look, who knows where he'd be.
Stalled, sadly. Yeah.
But the one silver lining is that if what he had gone through, if he didn't go what he went through, he probably wouldn't have beat the Dogs. So just a silver lining, just putting it out there that it sort of worked in our favor and in his. Big shout out to him. Another one I have to call out is Sam Hughes. The big fella scored 2 tries. He barely scores, but he scored 2 tries. And I think this is also very emblematic of the Bulldogs as a whole, which I find very fantastic because the reason the reason why he scored was because he kept his feet moving for a prop. He could have easily stood back, but the whole line came up. And if you looked at when Saab dropped the ball, Kikau was there, Sherry was there, Hughes was there, Galvin was there, Inari Tuala was there. I'm not sure if Burton was there. You had 6 or 7 doggies there waiting for the ball if it was dropped. And Sam Hughes pounced on it, and then he had the speed and the thinking to run and score. Fantastic. Like, I'm just, I have to give him a shout out. Look, this does cause a bit of a problem though, because then my thinking is this, right? Does he stay in the team when Sitili Tupanua comes back? That's where I'm starting to have a few questions around what the situation is, right? Does he get to stay in the team when Sitili Tupanua comes back? Because I think that you can't not have Sitili Tupanua in the team when he's back, right? I think Sitili Tupanua adds so much aggression, so much size, and so much hitting, so much hard hitting that you need to have Tupanua in the team. But who misses out?
That's a tough one. Everyone's saying Harry Hayes. Like, maybe
I'm going to put up another poll. I think this is worth a poll.
Because this is your bench. Haywood, Mann, Curran, Hayes.
Because Mo Gananem from Facebook asked the question about Tupanua, and I do think it's worthy of the poll. We did have 30 votes for the Burden for who was man of the match, and Burden came out with 59% of the score, the votes. Now I'm just going to ask a quick poll. Who drops for Tupanua? Hayes, Curran, or Hughes? Start poll. I've only. I feel like. I feel like Curran is a favorite of Seraldo's, and he's a favorite of mine. I think Curran's been fantastic. I just don't know. I don't know if Curran is the solution, but I also don't know if you can drop Curran. I think that he's got a little bit more experience. Now, everyone is saying that he thinks Sam misses out, Sam Hughes.
Yeah.
I think, especially if we're going to go deep into the finals, you need to have some big boys. I think if you have a front row rotation of Hughes, King, Sitili Tupanua, and...
Well, yeah, Salmon should make way. There you go. Problem solved.
No.
Salmon or Hayes the 13. Salmon makes way. So problem sorted. Tupanua can go either starting to 13 or Curran, and sorted. Good shout out.
Man
nice
won't play. I don't think Man can play 80 minutes at lock. That's the problem. And so there's going to need to be some sort of solution for that. I think that's the thing. Even though personally, I think that if there is someone that would best be suited to drop, honestly, I do think it's Salmon. I think Salmon's been great, and to be honest, against the Dragons, I thought Salmon was one of our better players. I know that's people may not want to hear that, but I reckon Salmon was one of our better players against the Dragons. So, and I know that Seraldo loves him. And so it's like, I'll be very interested to see who misses out. I do think it may be Hayes, because I think Tupanua's a bigger body. You'll have Curran there, and then Salmon will get more minutes in the middle, just tidying up the ruck, tidying up the defense, things like that. So that's why I think if you have a rotation of King Hughes, Sitili Tupanua, Curran, right, and Salmon, I think that works. And just quickly on Haywood and Mann. So over the last couple of weeks, it looks like Haywood has now started to replace Marnie. So Marnie went off against Manly in the 50th minute.
And
Hayes played there for 30 minutes. Let me tell you something, bro. Haywood's service out of dummy half in that last half an hour, very controversial opinion. Very controversial. But his long passes to cut out the 2 or 3 players,
nothing
in my opinion, were better than Marnie. Now, this is not a knock on Marnie. Marnie played 50 minutes in the middle, tackling his absolute backside off. Right? Tackling his absolute backside off. So this is not a knock on Marnie. This is more of a comment on how good Haywood played at 9, replacing Marnie. And it bodes well for 2026 if Haywood does become our full dummy half replacement, because I really, really liked what I saw. One of the tries, I think it was the Inari Tawala try. Bro, he shot an absolute bullet from dummy half. It was sort of just, it was left of the it was to the left of the left upright, and he just shot this bullet of a pass straight to Burn, and then onto kick it onto Inari Tawala. It was a great try, and it really showed what Haywood can provide out of dummy half, and I think that's a great sign. And I think as he warms to the role, he'll be even better this year. Just on that, two things. Haywood made, I think, if this is what Eddie Abs is referring to, I think he made 42 tackles. Let me just confirm how many tackles he made. He made a lot of tackles. No, he only made 16 tackles. Marnie made 42 tackles. So, yeah, Marnie had a big game.
Marnie did his role, just shut it down. And
bro, yeah. Marnie was fantastic. I thought Marnie was good. I think he did have most of our errors, funnily enough.
Doesn't matter. I mean, he's out there doing more tackles than anyone, getting involved more than anyone. So, naturally,
yeah, it was fantastic. So, I think that we're doing well. That was a great performance. Did I miss anyone that played well? Honestly, I feel like there's so much to talk about in this game. I thought Harry Hayes, Josh Curran, they did their jobs. Max King, like the forwards laid the platform. They sort of kept out of sight. They did what they needed to do. And then, the back line was what really stood out. I will say, unfortunately, as all you guys know, Connor Tracy is out for at least I reckon 5 weeks. So he's got a hematoma in his abdomen underneath his rib. So he will be out for I reckon he'll come back round 25 if we're lucky. Probably round 26. I think that's when he comes back because he needs 3 weeks of complete rest before he can start even doing light duties, as Gus Gould was saying. And so it could be, it could be a blessing in disguise for us. It could be damaging for us, especially we've got a really tough run home. So next we've got the Tigers, which are, a good time for us to maybe rest some players if need be. But then, the week after that, we're going to have the Wars, and then the week after that, we've got the Roosters, and then we've got, Melbourne and Panthers. So we've got a big run. It's going to be a
good testing run.
Very good. And I think, to be honest, people are underestimating how good this will be for us when we get into the finals.
It's better to have a tougher run.
I honestly think that,
to know where you stand.
Yeah. Anyone else stand out for you, Dibbo, from the team?
Hang on a sec. Well, a lot of standouts. Like, it's funny enough, your worst player, and he didn't even have a bad game, is probably Preston. Didn't even have a bad game. Like, if you want to say who your worst player is, because that's how good the whole team was. So, Preston was well contained compared to. But your team was that good. The attack was that much fire. It was just like whole team. Preston did his part. Did have to overplay his hand. So did Crichton. Everyone else is firing. Let everyone else go.
I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if it was me, but I thought Preston was he was doing a lot more tackling than usual, and I felt like
did his role.
To cover to support Galvin, which I thought worked wonders.
He was getting extra attention. In attack, you saw it in the first half. Yep. So he did his role. Okay, let them keep coming to me. My teammates are stepping up in my place. Same thing with Crichton. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
Look, I couldn't be happier as a Doggies fan. Honestly, I really, really couldn't be happier about.
Good bounce back.
Couldn't be
not that they lost, but beforehand, but good turnaround performance.
Everyone was doubting us, and Seraldo seemed eerily quiet or eerily calm about everything that was happening. It's when you have a coach that's so calm, comfortable, and then he comes out and the team that he's preparing producers this, you're just like, bro, this guy, he's him. He's him. Quickly, want to talk about the B Massive is asking for me to talk about the late hit on Salmon with no charge. Look, bro, it's becoming a toss-up as to what does get charged, what doesn't get charged. In the judiciary, the hit by Wyden on Toby Rudolph, he was found guilty of a shoulder charge. He's going to be missing for 4 weeks, which, you know, I don't know, bro. I think it's a bit of a joke. It's so up and down. I will say, though, in fairness to Matt Lodge, I felt like he went out there to do a job. He did his job. I don't really begrudge him for the way he played. Honestly, like, I think it was a bit late, sure. But I can't. I'm trying really hard to like see it from like if the Dogs were in the Manly position and we had a forward that we asked to go out there and do the big hits like Satili Tupanua against the Broncos. You know, I can't really hate too much what Lodge did. I agree it was late, so on and so forth. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it is what it is. We won. There was no injury. You know, I guess we move on. I didn't think it's too bad. And so yeah, that was it. Nothing really else really from Manly. Look, I will say on Manly, they are disappointing. They are very inconsistent. DCE played well, but for me, I always look at someone like Luke Brooks and I wonder, bro, you said the Tigers were your problem. You've gone to Manly. You've probably had 2 or 3 good games at Manly. You're not proving that you're better than what you were at the Tigers. You've got every opportunity to be better. You're not better. Olakawatu, unfortunately, redid his injury. I feel bad for Olakawatu. I love Olakawatu. Great player. Love him when he's in full stride. Really, really upset to see him injured. I wanted him to play the 80. I wanted him to push our big boys to see how we would respond. And so, like, I'm really, really upset for him. Now he's going to get surgery. I don't think he's going to play again this year. Won't play in the at the end of the year, the Pacific Championship or whatever. So that was really disappointing. I thought their back line was pretty poor. All the way from from Hopewadi all the way to Kula, all of them, I just thought they were really bad. Like, I don't even remember seeing Garrick on the field. Like, honestly, was Garrick even there? And that's the problem with Manly, and I think ultimately the problem with a coach like Seabold. He's too inconsistent as a coach. Sometimes he's either too technical or he just has like these mixed messages that he sends. Like, right in the press conference, hearing Steebs and that Daily Chair Evans talking, they were like weirdly optimistic, and I was like, dude, you got smashed. You lost by 38 points. How are you so optimistic? And I feel like that's the difference between the really good teams this week and the bad teams. Like if the Dogs lose, they understand that there need to be learnings, and they sort of, you can tell they're down on their performance. But Manly get smashed and they're optimistic. It's like, dude, what the hell are you guys thinking? So, I also think that like the Leo Hopewadi experiment is sort of a 50-50. I won't say it's a failure, but I actually don't think it's a success either. He's not yet anywhere near what Turbo is as a fullback, and so I think for them to make the 8 this year, Turbo needs to go back to fullback. That's my opinion. I think Turbo needs to go back to fullback. So I don't know. What did you think about Manly? Just talking about Manly specifically here.
Oh, they just got blown off the park. Their forward pack was, besides Matt Lodge, was shithouse. They tried to bash us early, but it was like only one of their forwards was really giving it honestly, that's how I saw it, giving it a go. And obviously Alakawatu hurt himself. Yeah, but even their back line. Sure, they tried to fight fire with fire, but it didn't come off for them. They played to how I thought they were. I didn't. I know everyone. They beat Melbourne, and who they beat the week before that? Souths, lowly Souths.
Yeah.
And what they won 3 in a row or something, and everyone was crying
Yeah.
about them. I just thought, yeah, but they're French top 8. I tipped Canterbury by 4, and then obviously when I
Then
had
you
a
did just before the game change your tip.
yeah, because I obviously sat down and thought, and then obviously somebody was telling me they're going to throw the ball around. I thought, you know what? They can't defend for shit. I thought, you know what? They're due for a good game. I mean, they've been winning, but they haven't been
Playing well.
setting the
Yeah.
world on fire. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly think Manly still won't make the 8. That's just my honest opinion. I'm being honest here. I still don't think they'll make the 8. I don't think Cronulla will miss out on the 8. And Roosters are definitely better than Manly. I know Roosters have copped up a few games recently. I don't think Manly will make the top 8. So yeah.
I'm going to give you a hot take about the top 8, and I'm going to get rammed for this. I guarantee you people are going to come for me in the comments if they ever hear this. And I'm going to make this clip and put it on Instagram, just to be very honest, just to be very clear. Broncos are going to miss
bring
the 8.
us more fire. Don't bring more fire to us. Rather talk.
Broncos are going to miss the 8.
So it's going to get fights with Broncos fans on our channel.
Honestly, Broncos are going to miss the 8.
What's their run home like?
So they've got a pretty tough run home. And I swear, after this, guys, we'll get straight into the Tigers game because I'm burning to talk about the Galvin Bowl. But
where's the game at? Leichhardt Oval?
No, CommBank.
Ooh, whose home game's that?
Yeah.
Theirs?
Yeah, they're home. Yeah.
Nice. Works better for them.
So the Broncos have
the
Rabbitohs Friday, the Storm the following Thursday. Then they've got the Dolphins.
Who they got Friday? Who they got Friday?
This Friday against the Rabbitohs at Suncorp.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then they've got Melbourne at Amy Park.
Yep.
Then they've got Dolphins at Suncorp.
3 hard games. Yep.
Then they've got Knights at McDonald Jones, who will have Bradman Best back. Then they've got Cowboys. Then they've got Cowboys at Townsville. Yeah. And then they've got Storm again in Suncorp.
Wow, they've got a tough run home.
They've got a very tough run.
They've got to put their best foot forward if they're going to try and make the 8. I have to.
I'm telling you,
tough draw.
They win 1 or 2 more games max this year.
From what you're telling me, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough run home for them. I'm telling you.
And don't forget, I think
the Knights. I thought the Knights were good for 50 minutes against the Raiders. Honestly, I didn't think they were that bad.
Knights keep fading. I don't know what's happening there. Anyways.
Anyway, so that was the Manly game. Great performance. Manly was good. They weren't bad, but they did get blown off the park. And, even though they were okay, they came out and tried their best. We were clearly a class above. And I think that's also what's starting to shine through in the different, makeups of the ladder. Now, the Galvin Bowl. Galvin faces the Tigers for the first time since defecting to the Bulldogs. I'm excited about this because I don't actually dislike the Tigers. I want them to do well. I tipped them at the beginning of the year to be there or thereabouts for the top 8. I had so much faith in Benji Marshall. Unfortunately, Benji Marshall's proven himself to be not a great coach, and that's not really his fault. I think that he was thrown into a position he wasn't ready for.
He's too holistic with his approach. I told you this from last year, from the start of last year. Too holistic.
What do you mean by holistic?
He tries to. He doesn't go. He goes outside the norms of coaching. He just tries these things from left field. They've got no basis behind them. He goes out. Because he was such an unpredictable player as an individual. He tries to bring too many things out of left field. I find doesn't play your. He's got to go. He's got to get defensive structures in place to begin with. Like that year that the Tigers won the premiership. I mean, Tim Sheens had just had freakish attacking talent across the park. Don't always get that. It's probably a once in a 20 or 30 or 50 year thing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
It
it's
is very
just,
generational.
so yeah, like look at the brand of footy he's trying to play with the Tigers. Like, what is it? What is it? Can anyone pick it? What is it?
No, there's no game
The
plan.
attack doesn't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, well,
I
what's he
agree
trying
with
to
you
tell the
100%.
team? He's probably telling the team, this is why it looks holistic. Oh, just play what's in front of you. Use your instincts. He's honestly just, well, I mean, he could have learned a lot of things from Tim Sheens, but it feels like he's learned nothing. But anyways,
So I
he's
think
got to develop a brand of footy.
I
Start
reckon the
giving.
problem that the Tigers have is the same problem, or the problem that Benji has is the same problem that Trent Barrett has. He's well liked, but he's too much one of the boys. I mean, he still gets in and trains with them, and he seems to be influenced too heavily by the leadership team, you know, in the club. And so I think like that's a big negative. Like if you look at the way it was handled, about not, the way they came out and handled the whole Galvin thing. I feel like he was controlled by the players, and it's sort of starting to come out now in the team where there's no direction, and he's given maybe Benji and RP too much control as opposed to saying, no, this is your role, go out and play it. He's sort of giving them that control. And he's made some decisions. I think obviously they don't sit well with the players, but he also, I feel like he's just not using the team that he has. He's just not using Latu Fayunu really well. I don't even think he's using Adam Dwayhe very well. Like I thought Adam Dwayhe and Latu Fayunu attacked better than Luai and Fayunu, which is so weird to say because I'm a big fan of Luai's. And so, as the comments are suggesting, Eddie Abs is suggesting, look at his bench. We know his game plan already. They'll try to bash us. Look, very few teams have been able to bash us this year, right? The Broncos did it once, but we've learnt those lessons. We have a supremely fit team. The Tigers aren't as fit as the Bulldogs. If you try and bash us, you will get smashed. Especially with a team that, number one, has high error count, has poor completions, has really poor tackling, and a high number of missed tackles. So I'm not really. I think we'll win and win comfortably. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna put 50 on them. I think that it won't be that, but I think I reckon we win like, I don't know, 40-10 or like 48-12 or something.
Look at their team. It's actually not that. Oh, it's funny. I was reading the. I'm sorry. I think it's getting late, but I was reading the lineup. I'm like, oh yeah, Jarrell Skelton's back for the Dogs. Nice. And then I'm like, oh shit, no, hang on a sec. I'm looking at the wrong. Honestly, I was just looking at it, thinking, oh wow, Skelton's back for the Dogs. Good replacement. Yeah. I think their forward pack will give a better account of themselves than what Manly's did. They got some big boppers there, but obviously you guys will just kill them in attack. Yeah, could end up being 40 plus. It's about there. It's going to be around 40, maybe more, but yeah, that's what I feel anyway.
See Jareem Buller there, come good back player. This week. Samuela Fainu comes back, great second rower. Royce Hunt's back in the team. So their team's definitely bigger this week than it was in previous weeks. It is, I think Eddie Ab's saying it's the best team this year. I reckon it is their best team this year. And Norm, suggests they have a decent bloody team.
They do, Norm, but I think you guys just move the ball. They do, but I think your attack's just that much way better that, again, offense becomes defense.
I think
honestly, like, wow, you guys spread the ball good. You did it so good on the weekend. I reckon you can back it up again.
I reckon there's another thing that we're missing here, and that is the Galvin factor. I reckon the Tigers are going to be very emotional, and the Tigers have shown us that they don't handle emotion very well. I don't think Benji handles it very well, and I don't think the players are going to handle it well. And just while I have everybody here, I have 71 people online. Please be sure to give us a thumbs up, like the video. Please, that's all I ask. like the video. If you do want to become a member of the kennel, I think it's $6 a month or something like that, and it helps us just support the podcast. I just want to give
Can
a
I
big
ask?
shout out to Codewell.
Yeah, what's the latest
Love
weather
your
alert,
show,
mate?
guys. Go the doggies. Yeah, give us what's the weather going to be like for the game on Sunday 2 p.m. Over there at
Are we expecting a lot of rain tomorrow? I just want to know from my work point of view, but yeah,
um
call in
it's going to be a
sick.
big game. It's going to be a huge game. It's going to be the Galvin Bowl. I think they need to give like a cap or a wig to whoever wins. So yeah, I think they're going to be very emotional. They're going to come out and try and bash us again. But I think that win against Manly does so much more for our confidence in attack, more than people realize. And I think for me, it's going to come out this game that we're on that level with the Panthers. We're on the level with the Raiders where we go into these games and we need to make statements and we're going to make them. And that's the confidence that I have with our team. I think that we are going to make statements, and I think that we are going to do some crazy things against the Tigers. And I reckon Galvin's going to go out there to prove a point. I do think that Galvin is going to go out there to prove a point. I don't think he's going to be emotional about it. And I think that that Seraldo will be preparing him for it all week. But he'll be out there to prove a point, and I think the boys will be out there to prove a point for him. We do have to talk about who's playing at fullback. Kiraz is not on the wing today. This game, he's on. He's at number 1 at fullback. Dibbo, as a neutral, what do you think?
Sign him up.
What do you think about him at fullback?
Oh man, Ivy. We'll find out. Ivy has a game where I know Tian was stressing on it, the dropsies and that, but he's actually fantastic under the high ball. Like how many times did he defuse bombs, even in attack? How many times did he take bombs and score, and chip and crossfield kicks in that? He's actually really good. His quick returns are going to be damaging. The only thing is anyone going with him for him to offload to them. He probably needs to learn to hold the ball, because I don't know if you'll have that support, charging it back from the back. But I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks the line a few times. He's actually hard to handle, very hard to handle, like extremely hard. I don't know how we go defensively, to be honest. He's been good at center. He's been good on the wing, but for someone who played, growing up, I played a large chunk of my footy at fullback. Completely different. Honestly, you got to be on alert 24/7. You got to be organised at the defensive line. You got to position yourself well. It is absolutely taxing. Like it really, fitness-wise, it saps it out of you. That even your mental suffers from it. Your cognitive, your mentality. You can easily switch off, and it also can affect your attack. Like doing so much at the back, basically trying to cover here, cover there, being on alert all the time, basically. He's got the attributes to have a blinder at fullback in attack, especially. And I hope he does, man. I'll love to see the best of him at the back, see what we can potentially get out of him. This would be good. He's not a rocket he's not a rocket in terms of pace, but he is hard to handle.
I think his kick returns, like if Tracy was starting us on the 30-meter line, Kiraz is going to be starting us on the 50-meter line. Like his kick returns are going to be brutal.
Yeah.
The Tigers also don't have a straight. Yep. They don't ever come up with a straight line, so that's going to be a problem for them. So I think he's going to bring some great things.
But what you got to understand about Tracy is he's not as big as a body, but NRL Toya that has a sharp eye for the game. Tracy absolutely positions his wealth. He's probably one of the best positioners of himself.
Great position. I agree.
In terms of receiving the kicks and where he attacks from, and he's actually extremely fast. He's very fast. Not the quickest, but he's very fast, and and he moves really well. He knows what lines to run, what to target,
Oh, he's great in the
and he hits
sweeping
the
plays.
line.
He's
He hits
very
the
good with
line
the
at
sweeping plays.
absolute pace. He's
Yeah.
fearless. He's hard to match in terms of kick return. Like if Kiraz matches him, fuck, he's done a fantastic job already.
You reckon Kiraz can match him?
I'll be astounded if he not only matches his kick returns and stats, but blows him out of the water. I'm expecting a big game from Kiraz. Like,
yeah,
I'm actually thinking he's going to at least match Tracy. That's my honest thinking. I'm actually glad to see him there, and I want him to have a blinder. Also because he's Lebanese, and hopefully St George can offer him some good money to jump ship.
I think his biggest problem if he does play fullback is chiming into the attack and giving that pass out to Critter. One thing that I think Tracy does very well because he used to be a 5'8".
Good ball skills, great ball skills. Yeah, well spotted.
Ball skills, right? I don't know if Kiraz has that in him, and so it may be a concern. That's my only concern for him at fullback. Everything else, I think, first half, second half, he'll get much better. First game, second game, he'll get better. Like, it's fine. I think that he's played fullback in the younger days, and I think he can make it as a fullback. I just don't know if he can be the passing fullback. I think he's more of a running fullback. And so the attack is going to have to... It may mean that...
Such a hard worker. I love that about him.
He's a great hard worker, but it may mean that we may need to have Salmon or Man playing more of that first receiver, second receiver, depending on where they chime in, as opposed to Kiraz being that person that gives the pass to Crichton.
I didn't like how you didn't put Salmon in that poll because I think you got worried he was going to get all the votes. Not happy. I went to go vote and I was trying to scroll down and I only realised there was only 3 options. Bad go, shit go, Elmo. Because I looked at it and I thought,
I just don't think he'll drop him. I just think that, he brought him back in the week he was available.
Hang on a sec. If he can get rid of Sexton, who has like a 70-80% win rate with you guys, why can't he get rid of Salmon?
Because Salmon does so much off the ball that I think it goes unnoticed. I'm not eager to play Salmon, but I think it needs to be mentioned just how good Salmon actually has been for us. Quickly, B Massive and Knox are both saying that they don't think Kiraz will play fullback. If you give me a minute, I'll pull up.
You know what? I think it disturbs the team the least with him going to fullback. You get me? Because Critter's great in the centres, unless you want Kiraz to go to centre after. But just leave it as it is. Like, and he got his replacement's fantastic, Renakama.
I disagree with Critter at fullback. I really genuinely disagree with it.
No, I'm saying happy. Keep him in the centres. I'm sure Critter would kill it at fullback if he went there, but keep him in the centres. Least disruption to your team. It's just...
Agreed.
Renakama's great. He'll give you a lot of run meters as well. He's a threat out wide. He's very fast. Fantastic. I think, and Kiraz's just another damaging runner from the back.
Probably so I just want to quickly bring up
to run off him.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the extended team. So we've got Mitchell Woods, Wilson, Danny Saluka-Fafita, Curtis Murray, and Toby Sexton there. I would love to see...
Is Mitchell Woods 18th man?
Mitchell Woods will be 19th man.
Yeah. Who's 18th then?
No, 18th man, they retired that jersey like 15 years ago.
Why?
So it's the fans are the 18th man now.
But who's like... But don't worry about the fans.
Mitchell Woods.
Okay, thank you.
Woods technically is 19th man, which is our 18th man.
Can he still change it or too late?
Yeah, it means nothing. Like, we've had, Undill's been 18th man multiple times. I would love to see Blake Wilson go to fullback. I I think
we'll see how it goes. But if they kill it this weekend, then unless there's an injury,
I just think
that's his only way in.
Look,
and you don't.
I'd be interested to see. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm interested to see Inari Tuala's positioning next to Crichton, because I think one of the best things that Kiraz has is his understanding of Critter's passes. So, if you look at Montoya, for example, some of the positioning plays he's had this year outside Critter, I feel like he's let Critter down, and he's even let Sherry down in a few instances, right? Where I feel like Kiraz automatically knows where he needs to be for Critter, even for Bronson Cherry, his positional play is very good as a winger. I'm interested to see if Inari Tuala will be able to find that positional play for Critter. Jethro, I have no problems with. I think Jethro is just a natural born killer, and he'll do very well outside of Sherry. But yeah, I just have my questions around Inari Tuala. Although I do think that he's been serviceable. Critter cannot be fullback. I think it's the same argument as Burden to centre. I just don't think it's necessary, and I think like fill that position on its own of its own accord. Let's not try and disrupt the most important position or the most important player in our team when we don't really need to. And so look, Woods is not going to debut at fullback against the Tigers in the NRL when we don't need to take that risk. I don't think Serraldo is going to take that risk, ruin his confidence, potentially get him injured. I think as they've said, game day injury, unless Burdo or Galvin are playing with an injury, and Mitchell Woods is there as cover. That could also be the situation. Or Toby Sexton could be cover. I don't know, but I highly doubt Mitchell Woods will play this week. If he does, bro, that'll be huge. That'll be huge, but I just don't think it will be. Everything else seems to be 1 to 17, other than the fullback. It'll be fantastic. I think it's going to be great. I think that the Tigers have a strong team, and the Tigers will be tough. I don't think we can go in there being complacent. If you look at the way we played against the Dragons, the way we played against the Broncos, the way we played against the Cowboys, we've gone in very complacent, and I think we need to get rid of that complacency, especially against the teams that we don't need to perform. And I said last week, we do perform against the teams we need to perform against, and then the ones that we don't really respect are the ones that come back to bite us in the bum. And I think this needs to be a statement to the team itself to say, no, we're going to do these performances every single week because we are at that situation where it's towards the end of the year. So anyway, I think it's going to be a great game. I think the Dogs are going to put on a show. I think the Tigers will be gallant for maybe 50 minutes, maybe. But I think at the end, it'll be the Galvin show. And the Dogs to win by a big one. My prediction, it'll be Dogs 13 plus. I think it'll be something like 42-12 or 42-14. Galvin man of the match. What's your prediction?
I'm stuck on whether I give the Dogs like 58 points or something like 40 points. All right, let's go to Dogs 40-12 or 40-14. Dogs 40-14. Dewey will miss a few kicks.
40-14. Yeah, I think that's a fair shout.
I'm being honestly, I actually want to go like 58-10 or 58-14, but let's just not get over ahead of ourselves. Give the Tigers that little bit of respect that we should. Just little bit. The only reason is because I think the Tigers, and the only reason I think the Tigers will do better than Manly is because I think the Tigers forwards will give a better account of themselves. Honest. I'll tell you what, it should be a wet track there at CommBank. On Sunday, you said 2:00?
Yeah.
It should be a wet track. The rain should have, or if we go off what the forecasters and the Bureau of Meteorology come out with, apparently we're meant to get a drenching tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and I think stop somewhere on Saturday. So that turf should still be wet on Sunday and soft. Probably help the Tigers, if anything. So, yeah, I'm going to stick to what I said. And if the Dogs blow me out of the water, salute.
I don't look. If it's not raining on the day, if it
won't
it's
be raining on
the day,
it will stop the day before. But obviously, the water.
If it stops the day before, I think that actually suits us. If you look at the games we have played where it stopped the day before, during the rain we're crap. Day before, I reckon we'll be good. If it's I think we'll do well.
I don't think your best footy's played on soft or wet tracks.
No, look, we need a hard dry track to play our best footy, but I don't think it troubles us. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it just.
I don't think it troubles us. And while I have everybody,
I'm saying you
people
don't...
live, please be sure just give this video a thumbs up. Please just give us a thumbs up. Click subscribe.
I think dry tracks. Oh, you guys are fantastic. Dry hard tracks. Yeah, you guys are brilliant. I don't know. The wet, I think it's. You think it'd be better on wet being a smaller forward pack, but for some reason the bigger sides managed to capitalise on that, as we saw a few times this year. But yeah, you know what, Abra, I was liking my chances. Abra's asking about the Dragons, but we just
Yeah, we'll get
saw
to them
now as
very
well.
soon.
They can't even field a team. It's like my fantasy side. I was playing with 4 players one week.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Debo, tell us what's your tip and
yeah, I went the
score?
Dogs.
And give us
I had Dogs 40-14. And like I said, if
40,
they score
14.
more than that and they put on a shellacking, salute. But
Man
40
of
to
the
14,
match.
I'm confident they'll score 7 or 8 tries, the Dogs. My man of the match, I think it's it's going to be a wettish sort of track. You know what? If Matt Burton triggers his kicking game, I'm going to go Matt Burton. My man. Oh, you
Matt
know what?
Burton, great shout.
It's either between Kiraz or Burton. I'm going to go Burton because Kiraz probably got a lot of pressure under him. You know, he's probably doing it. I'm going to go Kiraz. I'm not going to put that. I mean, not sorry. I'm going to go Burton, not put that pressure on Kiraz. Burton.
Yeah.
And if Kiraz gets man of the match, oh, yeah, please sign him up. Dragons, that is.
That's a great shout. Great shout. All right. And where do you think that the danger for the Tigers comes from? Like, where do you think their best shot at it is?
Man, they got some good forwards there, eh?
It's a great forward pack.
It's a big forward pack. It's not great. It's just a big forward pack. Like Terrell May, he's always busy. Royce Hunt, if he gives you good 10 minutes each half, that's all they need him for, really. For Noah Polle, he had a good start to the year. I don't know. He's on the bench all of a sudden. I'd start him ahead of Alex Twal. I don't think Alex Twal can play a whole 80 minutes. That's the thing. But he's not as busy. Fainu, they go all right. That's their most threat, just their forwards. Like Taylor May's not too, you know, he needs more time. You know, he's a great strike weapon, Taylor May, but second game back, not expecting him to set the world on fire. Their forward pack's their best chance. You know, that's it. That's the only way, you know. But your props more than hold their own, like Kikau and Sam Hughes. Those guys don't get bullied around. Definitely not. They don't, you know. Expect those boys, Max King will step it up. Jacob Preston's just a whipper in attack. Yeah, I don't think your boys will get bullied at all. I mean, only their best threat's the forwards, but even then, I think your boys should be able to hold their own. Well,
I was going to say Taylor May, but given that he'll be up against
too raw still. Like he's only second game back in first grade. You know, you'll see the best of him next year. I hope he has a strong finish to the year and has a whole preseason. The guy didn't even have a preseason.
Yeah, 100%. But given that he'll be attacking up against Crichton, I reckon Crichton will give him a nice welcome back. You know, and I just
they're
don't
good
think
mates as well. I think they're good mates.
Look,
well.
I'm sure, you know. I'm sure he'll give him a warm welcome back to rugby league.
Knowing Crichton, you're right. But knowing Crichton's probably over the moon for that. You know, Taylor's got his life back on track and he's back. He's quite the humanitarian, or Stephen Crichton. You know, like seeing the best out of people. But honestly, like their best set will be their forwards, unless you want to say Adam Dewey. Dewey can pluck a try out of bombs.
Yeah,
you know,
I think Dewey would be great.
Dewey's a very capable player. You know, you saw it at South when he was a teenager. He's had a fair few injury setbacks. Very capable player. Like he's probably their biggest strike weapon. Just what I've seen the last month.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think Taylor May has been good for them.
The only thing that will help the Tigers here to make it a potential, like who knows, never know. It's just the weather. It'll be a wet track out there. It'll suit the Tigers more than the Dogs. Like, cool.
Potentially.
Like if anything just.
I think Gerard Skelton is going to be their weak link. I think that he's got really poor defense, and I think, you know, if we can run similar structures that we ran against Manly, if we run them on both sides, in fact, I think Sunia Taruva is also a very bad defender. Great player, great energy. I think he's done very good at fullback, but I do reckon he's got very, very bad defensive reads. On the edges, the Tigers are very frail. They can attack well on the edges, but they cannot defend the edges for their lives. And so if we can run those same shapes that we ran against Manly and keep hitting them, honestly, I reckon we'll score more against the Tigers than we did against Manly. Even with a better forward pack, I just feel for the Tigers, Taruva and Skelton on their edges cannot defend. They don't seem to connect or communicate well with their centers. And so I just feel like if we can run those lines, really, I think we'll score more than we did against Manly. It just depends on what attitude we come out with. If we play for 80, bro, we can go north. We can
Put
go
a
north with
poll
these
up.
guys.
Put a poll up. Scorelines man of the match, or I don't know, and ask everyone's their predictions. I like hearing the fans. Someone put in your comments what you guys think, man. Scores, man of the match. Please put them both
let us
together.
know. Let us know what you guys think.
I honestly love reading your comments, guys.
Now, welcome to David Nagy. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly on Facebook. It's good to have you. Good to have you here. We are, as we were saying before, we are not great in the wet this year, but I do think that this is something that we are starting to get over. Jamie Teasdale has mentioned that Wilson and Sexton have been named in New South Wales Cup. That's great. That's a great call out. It's a great call out. Looks like 18th man probably will be Mitchell Woods. But yeah, if we complete against the Tigers like we completed against Manly, we'll put 50 on them. I'm telling you now, if we complete like we did against Manly, we will absolutely put 50 on the Tigers. Welcome to George V Musing. It's good to have you in here, bro. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. Big hello, welcome. Love seeing you on here. What a performance by the Dogs. And I'm telling you, we're going to have another big performance against the Tigers. Honestly. Rufio Palaquenta reckons that the Tigers will roll us. Oh, bro, if the Tigers roll us, let me tell you this. If the Tigers roll us this week, we're pathetic.
Love it.
There is no way the Tigers are going to roll us. Nah. Mitch is saying he fears
I just love the name, but.
Yeah, look, it's a great name. Welcome, Rufio Palaquenta. We're going to call Dibbo Palaquenta from now on.
Dibbo Maradona.
Dibbo Maradona. We'll call you Dibbo Maradona.
Oh, Diego.
Yeah. I think. Honestly, I reckon the Tigers will be good for 30 minutes. I know I said 50 before, but I keep thinking about it. They'll be good.
Always come out hot.
Miller's been out. Samuela Fainu's been out. I don't really rate Royce Hunt or Tony Sukkar.
I like what Watto's saying. DFL Watto 30 plus. Yeah, I agree with you, Watto, about there. Even though I said 40 to 14, but I reckon that's probably banged. Dogs should really put them to the sword, especially after the performance against Manly. They've got to maintain the rage. It
will depend on our attitude. It will depend on our attitude, though. We need to make
sure. Man, I'll tell you, and I said it earlier about Berta and David Nagy's. Touched on it again. I wonder if it's related to Richard Nagy I used to work with. But if Berto puts up those skyscrapers, especially if the ball's probably still wet from the grass and that, oh mate, I'll tell you what. Oh man, what an asset to have.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Asset. Big boot.
We need to re-sign Burton. Beyond 2027. Even before the opportunity comes for other teams to talk to him, because I feel like he's becoming such an important part of our team. And look, if he runs the ball again, if Berto runs again, if Galvin runs again, if we can continue to, have a run-first mentality, bro, the Tigers do not have the defensive structures to hold us out. Wallah,
and Burton could play rugby union with these.
Bro, Burton could play NFL with these.
Yeah, I remember how I've been saying for the last few years. You go there, be a punter, and you'd get angry at me for suggesting that.
Yeah, but bro, I don't want to lose Burton.
He could be a punter in the NFL.
Fred calls him, I don't want to.
You know what's insane? Some NFL talent scout will put up, who can do like this? And if you read the comments across all socials like TikTok and all that, no kidding, the most mentioned name is Matt Burton in there, and it's just Matt Burton, insane. No surprise either. He gets that real hang time on the ball.
So all right, I think we sort of have a consensus. Bulldogs to win by plenty as long as they show up with the right attitude. I reckon Galvin's going to be man of the match. Dibba reckons Burton's going to be man of the match. I reckon all we'll have to do for this game really is just defend well and just come with the right attitude. I think if we can complete to the degree that we completed against Manly, I think any team will struggle. because I feel like against Manly, we performed like we did against the Panthers. That's what I reckon.
Better. No, you're
I reckon we
better.
performed against Manly the way we performed against the Panthers, and we
I
said
think
it
he's
back then,
better.
and I'll say it again, bro. If we play that well, very few teams can beat us. I strongly believe that Melbourne Melbourne wouldn't beat us right now. If we were to play against Melbourne the way we did against Manly, Melbourne wouldn't beat us. I would argue very few teams would beat us if we play with that attitude. And so the way we completed, the way we played, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, and I'm really, really excited to see where this does go, and how we play against the Tigers. It will be the Galvin Bowl, and I reckon Galvin to take the Galvin Bowl out. And look, with that, it is 9:19. Dibbo, do you have 5 quick minutes to do some tips for the
look at
upcoming
the other
games?
team. Yeah, please, man. I want to do that. I've been hanging to do it.
Sorry, man. We gotta start doing more of the general discussion and less of the less of the doggies discussion. But we'll get there eventually. When the dogs play well, you can't help it. But all right, let me quickly share my screen. And while I do have you here, guys, there is 70 people. Please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Oh yeah, NRLW Abraha. Apologies. Yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but they did well. The women to come back in the second half. You know, the Roosters are such a great team. Look, they are first. They do have a great team on paper, and they show it every single week. You know, Surgis is killing it. Isabel Kelly, you know, Kelleher, Aiken. You know, they do have some younger players, but they're just such a good team. Like Olivia Koenig. You know, the Dogs tried very hard, and I thought they did well to come back and redeem themselves in the second half. But it is our first year, and I think we've been really good, the NRLW, so far this year. We have the Titans on Saturday at 12:15 p.m. in Newcastle. I am tipping the Dogs to win that one, even though Titans do have a good team. But I do think that Quinlan and Taylor Preston make a great team. Angelina Takaranga Katoa is back as well. So I do think that we will win this one, but we'll have to improve a lot from last week against the Roosters for the ladies to get the win. Tegan Dimmick and Holly Wheeler are both big losses, I think. You know, Tegan Dimmick plays up front. Holly Wheeler is lock. They are both out this week with injury. But I do think that you know, Tuanao and Hope Millard will do a great job as their replacements. You know, I do apologize that we don't cover NRLW as much. It's not because we don't want to. It's not because we don't have or we don't enjoy it. I think the problem is that
caught up with the Bulldogs.
You just get caught up with Bulldogs. The men. It is such a new thing for me as well. Like I followed the men so closely for so long, and now, you know, follow the women. Honestly, I love it. It's just more footy to watch. But yeah, it is an adjustment period. But I promise we'll try and be better. So apologies to everyone if we're not covering the NRLW enough. I promise, honestly, we will try and do better. Look, the truth is we need a second show. We can't do everything in one show. It is difficult to do it in a sort of a 2.5 hour block. Anyway, with that, if I could just quickly just have 5 more minutes of your time, guys. You guys have been fantastic. It's been honestly one of the best shows of the year so far, and I reckon it's only going to get better. But I do want to just quickly go through the scores. Honestly, I love it. I love talking about the non-Bulldogs games so much. As much as I love talking about the Bulldogs, you know, I enjoy talking about non-Bulldogs games. First game is the Eels against the Storm. The Eels host the Storm at CommBank Stadium. It'll be 14th against 3rd. How about that win by the Eels against the Broncos? I tipped the Eels. Everyone said I was crazy, but I knew it. Bro, wallahi, I knew it.
His first tip all year, guys. He got one right.
Bro, the week before last week, I had a 7 out of 8, and the week before that, I had 8 out of 8. So you calm down, yeah?
Wow, week.
Yeah, bro.
Upset. But almost saying it wasn't an upset.
that's
Bro, for me, it was true to
honestly,
form.
For me, I think the Broncos are still shit. I reckon the Broncos still won't make the 4.
They got a tough run.
I don't reckon they will make the top. I don't think the Broncos will make the top 8. The Eels were fantastic last week. The Broncos
The only thing that's worrying is the Dolphins seem to be. I know they seem to be losing players again.
Now they're getting 4 players back in the next couple of
I
weeks.
know,
So
but just
we'll talk. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, go on.
Sorry. So for the Eels and the
How are
Storm,
they?
so
Eighth?
Hughes is injured, so Hughes is out. They've got Wishart there at 7.
Played better without him. All of a
Manu's
sudden.
starting. Naz is still obviously suspended. He's suspended for 2 weeks. They've got a pretty small bench. Jonah Pezza, Ativalu, Lisari, Garlic, and Chan, as opposed to Sam Tuivasa, Matt Dory, Luca Moretti, and Talon De Silva, which honestly, like, as weird as this sounds, I actually think that's a very decent bench compared
They're
to the
looking
one
good,
that,
eh?
yeah,
Mitchell
they really are,
Moses.
bro.
Mitchell Moses.
Bro.
Wow.
Like Charlie Geimer, this guy's come out of nowhere, bro. Like, where was he last year? This guy's come out of nowhere in a team like the Eels. He's just playing out of his skin.
Yeah.
You know, I think even
Him and
Jermaine
Luca
Hopgood,
Moretti.
great call, bro. Great call. Luca Moretti has been incredible as well off the bench. And you know, like, I reckon, like, I said this in the beginning of the year. I said that Jason Riles is going to make a good coach, and I was very excited to see how he would go. But to see the way that they've improved.
He gave us 5 minutes. Now he's glazing over Riles and the Para team. Go, Elmo, go. Don't let any Dogs fans. Don't let any Dogs fans hear you say this.
Yeah, a big fan of what Riles has done there, and you know, the courage to leave out Dylan Brown.
Bloody oath! Your season's done and dusted. Move on. Yeah, fucking oath.
You know,
see you later. Thanks for the
Cartwright, Madison. Like, you can see here, Kelma Tuolangi. Like, he's not picking people on name or on reputation. He's picking people that are performing, and
bloody oath, he's probably got his best
side.
Fantastic,
man. I do think that the Melbourne Storm will win this one. I reckon it'll be
tough game.
I reckon it'll be like 30-24 or like 24-18.
Game.
It'll be a very close game in my opinion.
I'll go with your second prediction, 24-18.
And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. I will not be surprised if the Eels win, but I am tipping the Storm.
Watch out.
Then we've got Warriors and Dolphins at Go Media Stadium.
Far out. I'm going to go Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to
honestly, the Warriors lost to the Titans. Sorry, man, but I can't turn around and say he'll beat the Dolphins. You might turn and improve, but man, those Dolphins, when they're hot, they're hot. Well, let's look at their fourth pack for 8, my words.
They've lost Chanel Harris-Tavita.
Look at the losses. Wow, definitely. Go the Dolphins by 14, even though it's an away game. Dolphins. Look at the ends.
And
look at those ends. Like, Nichols is back to play with Katoa in the halves. Wow-wee.
So,
sorry, I'm getting a bit...
Nikorima is back at 6. Kafusi is back at 10. And then you've got Mark Nichols on the bench, which, you know, for me, starts to make the team look a lot more well-rounded.
What a team.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're going to win big, to be honest.
I reckon it could be like... I got them by 14. It's still a big score.
Yeah, I was going to say 48-24. I think it's going to be like a big game.
Huge. They can score points, these Dolphins.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be 48-24. Then we've got the Broncos hosting the Rabbitohs.
What do you reckon? Wayne's going to ruin it for him again?
Yeah, I reckon South.
Have you realised he always seems to shit on him?
Look, I think that South will win this one. South will win by 4 points.
Good. Oh, wow. This one's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, because Whiten's out, and I think they'll have no choice but to bring Lewis Dodd in.
What about the other kid, Reed, or whatever he was from the draft originally, Ashton Reed or something?
Ashton Ward. He's on the bench.
Oh, Dodd's not in there, is he? No, he's not.
No, so Dodd was on the extended bench, but because Whiten has been suspended.
Monroe. What? Monroe kept dropping the ball. That's all.
Bailey Bentley-Hape. Whiten's out, so Dodd should slot into the halves. But then he's also made some changes here, Madge. So he's dropped Arthurs and Karapani, and he's brought back Dean Mariner and Selwyn Cobbo onto the wings. Payne Haas is apparently cleared of injury, but playing with some back pain.
Should just rest him, honestly.
Still the same Khara bench. Honestly, I'm going to say Rabbitohs by 4.
Oh, well, this one's a bit of a... Man, South's Man, they put on putting up a decent side.
What do
Tough
you
one to
reckon?
pick for me. I don't know. This one's tough. I'm going to go because they're probably at home, but Souths are due for a win. I hope their win doesn't come against us eventually. But I'm going to go Broncos by 4. It's a tough game. I'm only
Yeah,
tipping the Broncos because they're at home and South's got a lot of injuries still. That's the only reason to choose them. And because Wyden's now missing.
yeah.
How
But
good
did you
was that?
see? Did you see,
They almost got it last week.
bro? The Sharks had like 62 tackles in their 20-2, and they only won by 2 points. Like honestly, I reckon
They almost got it.
Rabbitohs are bad, but they're showing ticker, and I just don't think.
Just
I
bad
think the
injury run.
Broncos.
They're a better
Broncos are going to
side
be
than
complacent.
17th. I can't believe they're 17th.
Timothy's asking, can Alex Johnston get the tries? I really hope so. I want to see him get it this year. I really don't want to wait until next year.
I want to try about the game so I can run on the field and, I don't know, tackle the ref. Didn't say that, but yeah. No, I just want to run on the field.
Then it's going to be Titans and Panthers up there at Cbus Super Stadium.
Penny Panthers. They want the top 4. Penny Panthers.
I think Panthers win well.
Penny Panthers.
It'll be a good game. Look, it'll be a good game. But I reckon that
Penny Panthers by 18. 18.
Yeah, all right. I'll pay that. I think Josh Paxton, I think, is going to make his debut or play his second game and something like that. So
yeah, nice. Congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. But I think like the Panthers have been good. One player I want to quickly point out for the Panthers, this Luron Patea, bro, coming off the bench, he's been so good. Bro, he's so good. He's just like another, honestly, it's like they cloned Moses Leota. I'm a big fan of Luron Patea. He'll be big for them in the future. And so I think Panthers will win this one. Dragons and Raiders up there.
I want to tip us. Honestly, I think we can get them, but we just keep getting injuries. Like now we're missing Sewer. Like far out. How did that guy not get sin bin for the hip drop? Anyways, I'm
with you. I'm with you. I think that was a massive sin bin. That should have been a sin bin.
Man, I'd love to see a Loco in there or Halangahu debuting.
It would be great. I'm very, very, very keen to see.
Is Halangahu 18th man? Wow. Yeah. 18, 19-year-old. Wow. I love to see him play. Those Canberra Raiders, they're hard to handle. They'll probably play better than us They'll play I'll go Canberra by say 12.
I'm gonna go Dragons by 6.
Look, if Dragons win by 6, you and Tim Gray can I don't know, dance on camera in front of us. Right, Tim? Tim Gray's been saying Dragons to win for the last 3 months. I think he's only got 2 wins out of them.
I think like the thing about the Dragons is that I think that they're due for a win, and I think the Raiders are due for a loss. Look, if the Raiders go through and don't really lose, it's not going to be good for their season. But I also think that like they're doing well, but they're bound for a loss.
They're staying injury free. Like besides Sevelia, Tamale.
Yeah, they are actually as well.
They're
yeah,
still injury free. Father had a good run. Gee whiz.
Then it's the
Manly Roosters. I'm going to go Roosters. Roosters by 12.
I reckon this could be this could be match of the round.
You guys heard them. You guys have absolutely hurt Manly. They're going to lose again.
I think it could be.
Roosters need a win.
I don't know, bro. This is going to sound so weird, but I feel like
they've
gone downhill. Honestly, hear me out, yeah? I reckon Roosters have gone downhill since Walker's come back.
Yeah, they got used to him now. They're not going to hit the ground running all the time when the half returns, no matter how good he is, Man, they were so good with Sandon Smith and what's the Spaniard's name?
Hugo Savala.
Hugo Savala. Yeah. They were doing so good with them. I think they'll go good this week.
This is interesting. So Radley and Zach Docker-Clay are both not in the starting team.
Radley needs a break.
I'm okay with Radley not playing, but Benaya Iolu over Zach Docker-Clay. I thought Zach Docker-Clay's been really good for them.
Great player. I hope he needs an NRL contract. Like the Roosters made it clear they're not going to offer him, but the kid's the guy's just too good not to be playing NRL. How good is he?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's so good. Like I'll take him at the Dragons. It'd
be great for you guys. But you've got Little. Unless you get rid of Cook, what are you going to do with him?
If Cook retires, then he comes in. Obviously Little then starts and he's the replacement or vice versa or whatever.
I don't know, man. I'm
So
sort of
good.
torn because I want to go Roosters. I think that Tedesco's been good, and I just feel like they've got more to offer.
Roosters. You know, if I wasn't a Dragons fan, I reckon I'd be a
But I
Roosters
have
fan.
gone the Roosters. I have gone the Roosters.
Maybe a
I have
Cronulla
gone the
fan,
Roosters here, by the Roosters by 10.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 28-18, something like that. Then Dogs and Tigers, Dogs by 50. Then we got the Cowboys and the Sharks.
I want to change my tip to 50 now, honestly.
We've got the Tigers and the Sharks.
Sharks. Cowboys can't defend. They still leaked 6 tries against the Dragons.
Yeah,
if that Flanagan, if he kicks well for goal, Flanagan, not in general play, but if he got his kicks in, he could have probably evened that up. But anyways, well, they still leaked 6 tries. Cronulla's a better attacking team than St George, and a better defensive team.
The Chad Townsend Club, the Chad Townsend Cup. The Chad announced his retirement today, so we're going to call this one the Chad Townsend Cup.
Hey, Chad Townsend's another reason why he could have won the premiership with Sexton as your halfback.
Yeah, maybe. But Shane Perry from the Broncos as well. Like,
I don't give a shit what anyone says. For me, Shane Perry was way better than Chad Townsend, despite playing only 30 games of first grade or 40 games. I don't care what anyone says.
I reckon Chad Townsend was, when he was younger, was so much better.
Yeah.
But I reckon in this one, I reckon the Sharks have way too much to play for.
Sharks by 20, maybe 26.
Nah, bro. Sharks aren't that great. I reckon Sharks by 12.
I reckon Sharks by 20 plus.
Sharks by 12. Sharks aren't that great, bro.
All right, who we got next? Who's got the bye?
And then that rounds out the game. So that's the last game at 4 p.m. The Knights have the bye.
Newcastle. Oh, Newcastle's got the bye. Jeez. Yeah. They've been dreadful. They need the bye.
I thought against the Raiders for 50 minutes they were good.
Yeah, I know, but they're just dreadful.
They've got too many injuries.
They were dreadful in the last 30. Not even just not good, dreadful. Like the Dragons got more injuries than them, and they're more dreadful than the Dragons. Oh, I don't know what to say, but anyways.
All right. With that,
gents, love you all.
It is 9:35. We have been
Thanks
on
all of you
for 2 hours. We've had 63 people,
Timmy,
60 plus the whole week. Thank you so much for your support.
Who wins the spoon? Hopefully not the Dragons. Please God, not the Dragons. Tigers, right, Tim? Tigers for 4 Pete. Tigers to Tigers for 4 Pete. While one team's winning 5 in a row, the other one's making its own dynasty of wooden spoons. Just like when Parra was doing it. Titans.
Yeah, I reckon
they got a good stirring win against the Warriors.
I don't know if they can back it up.
I don't know. Tigers. Please not St George, but yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks, gents.
And just as we go, Jamie Teasdale has given us a $5 super chat. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. GG's everyone. It's been a great stream. We love you all. Up the Dogs. I hope your team does well. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram. The link should be in the description. And before you go, just give us a thumbs up and have a great night. Cheers, guys. We love you all. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.